And we're back. Our session title is Testing God, referring to the God object, global object, domain object that we're talking. I want to do a devotional called Context Switching, just to make it completely impossible for anyone to guess whether these videos are prayer and devotion or coding sessions by looking at the titles. Hopefully in the future the metadata will be smart enough to tag it for people who so care. Let me just kick us off with prayer. God, I just thank you so much for Daniel, for the incredible man that he is, and for the incredible array of gifts that you have blessed him with and make him so ideally suited to this time and this place. And I just pray that I would be a good boss and that I would frustrate him in the most appropriate ways and not frustrate him in inappropriate ways so that we can all grow into what we need to be. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
So how are you feeling?
Uh,
Code.
yeah.
I noticed you had a branch that wasn't merged about get raw. Was that coming, or was that?
No, that's still what I'm working on. I'm still, yeah. I got the, I got all the specs to work again with the world, and did proper testing on the iterators, and let's see.
You want to bring up the project or the code?
Sure. You want one of us to share screen?
Why don't you share your screen, since I think you're going to be driving for a bit.
Okay.
Well, you got the build system working too.
Yes. Right, so I fixed all the world tests so that they all pass. And then right now I have.
I did a poll. There's a lot of the tests are still marked as pending. Did I not get the latest branch?
In get raw.
Oh, okay. You're in get raw, not in master. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
In get raw. Yeah, so we're still sort of at that spot where we need to implement syntax as a syntax. I think I'd like to do car and string first because they're much simpler.
And I think we need that for everything. Yeah, I realized there's actually. I was wondering if we're thinking about organization. I should be starting to create issues rather than doing it. Is that there's going to be a handful of actually figuring out names for these things is actually probably useful too. So there's the world object, and let me just make this a. Actually, why don't you stop presenting? Let me go back and go into the issues page and talk through some of these things. My screen here. Okay. Issue code organization. The idea is there's 3 major buckets of code we are writing. You seeing that?
Yep.
So there's the world, and the world has several things going for it: scope, invocation, enumeration. Probably some helpers. So one question was, should we make this a cascade of classes? Modularity, like we have a scope class, and then invocation inherits from scope, enumeration inherits, just because having one big world object, one big world gets messy. So it's a question. It's not saying it's not the right thing to do, but it's something I worry about. Second is, let's call it utility classes. These are what everyone uses during the runtime. And that's like car, string, file, etc. That you can imagine there's going to be a bunch of those that we need to create.
Mm-hmm.
There's the interpreter, which has there's the syntax slash parser flex slash parse slash eval. There's also going to be classes which are sort of into that, like tuple, closure, expression, name, nil, and so yeah, that's kind of the basic list of things that we have to create. And one question is it worth actually breaking those up into separate folders, or keep it flat for a couple more file creations, and after it gets actually painful, then we restructure it?
I mean, so far, the utility classes have already moved down.
Right, but they're in the same bucket with our parser and syntax and everything else.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, so the question is that it's useful for me thinking in terms of how I visualize this working to have those three buckets. But if it's not fairly helpful for you, then it's probably not urgent. So as long as I have it in an issue, then we can just let it sit.
Sure. It definitely makes sense to do eventually, and if it seems helpful now, no problem doing it now.
Okay. Well, let's actually build one of these things actually out, because right now it's just pretty much a stub, right?
Right.
Okay. We're going to flubits this?
Sure.
And are we still on the get raw branch, or can we check that in? Are you in the middle of something on it, or?
Yeah, I can move to master.
Yeah, well, if we just check that in, and then we can just start car on a new branch.
Sure.
If you want to share your screen now, or?
Sure. Give me a minute. I'm just gonna take this pull request and.
Sure.
All right. Okay, create syntax. Cool. And jump into Sublime, I guess. Okay.
Is that really dim for some reason?
Oh, yeah, let me,
Cool.
Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the idea is that, let's see, for our world. Okay, so the idea is, let's go ahead and we are not being used. Are we still running? Yeah, we're still running. Great.
And do we, as you can go ahead and change it to Swan Car. I just find that an easier name to say than Car World.
Yes. I mean, why bother with Swan Car at all? Why not just car?
I don't know. Does car mean anything in JavaScript that we have to worry about?
No, but string does. So,
For consistency.
I mean,
If we're gonna have, if it's gonna be Swan String, may as well be Swan Car.
all right.
By the way, what does describe.only mean?
It means these are the only tests that are going to run right now. You look here, it's only running those three, or whatever's here.
Okay.
Describe.skip is how you pass over them and run everything else.
Gotcha. Cool.
Although it doesn't. It doesn't look like it's running properly right now. Mm. Interesting. It's
Each passing, one pending.
okay. No, it's working. I don't know. It's being weird. Describe it is a method that returns a world whose up is
Do we care what the up it is? Okay. Why is that one it rather than two?
because I just need to write it out for sanity.
Okay. I think whose is WHOS.
No, you're right.
All right. Has an up. Didn't we clear world global so we don't need that line?
Yeah, we did.
And is this in Flubits, by the way?
Should be. I don't know if Flubit's open, but I am connected to Flubits.
Let me see if I can find it then. Cool. Yes, it is showing up nicely. Just body colon car as a starting point. I've been using yeah,
That won't work for us. Will it? Doesn't body have to be an array?
It's going to cause crashes later on, but at this point it doesn't care. If you try to enumerate on it, you're going to have issues. But
Fair enough.
And for my sanity, I would like to use a different variable name to refer to a literal. What do we use for characters in JavaScript? How do you create like a single character?
What do you mean?
Like if I actually want to have a single character in C, I have a car data type.
Yeah, as far as I know, it doesn't exist.
It does not exist?
No, everything's a string.
So it's basically a single character string.
Yep.
Ah, that's interesting. So in that case, do we even have a Swan car? So we take the string, which just happens to have one character. So in that case, maybe we should do Swan String first.
Okay.
Okay, letter rather than car is a good.
Okay. All right. All right. You want to move to string?
Yeah. You saving that? We could just skip this for now, right? Since
Sure. Start over. So again, it is a method.
sorry, we're on syntax now,
Yeah.
not string spec.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I don't even have a string. Let's create that.
All right. Joe.coffee somewhere. Yes. Okay. So as a matter of convention, we're going to use the word string to refer to an actual JavaScript string, and then what? str for our Swan strings.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Do you know how to change the tab settings in Sublime?
No, I thought the tab size at the bottom was there. Oh, you mean permanently?
Yeah.
No, yes.
Yeah, I really like I'm a huge fan of Vim now, and it's hard to use anything else.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I use TextMate all the time, and I still couldn't figure out Sublime Text.
I found Sublime to be fine. I mean, I found Sublime better than Visual Studio a lot of times, but that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I found it easy to use in comparison with TextMate. I found it a very similar set of features and even some other niceties that TextMate didn't have. But yeah, I've crossed over the bridge to the Vim side. Anyways, all right. Describe the Swan String. And I don't know why the tests stop running. Okay.
Okay.
It is a method that takes a string.
Okay. All right, looks like our client's available to meet at 11, so I should be leaving here around about 15 minutes.
Are you meeting with the clear point or something?
Yeah, the kiosk guy.
Oh, the kiosk guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, yes, and my lunch meeting canceled, so that's not a conflict, so that was good.
Okay. Um, this is pretty confusing.
So you want to use stir for the JavaScript version? Okay.
Yes, so.
Talk to me.
I am just trying to get this test set up working at all.
Okay.
I mean, that wasn't exactly it. String.
Can we call it stir here then to be consistent with the other one?
Yeah. We have a.
Okay, in the interest of time, maybe we can just pen the execution and just work on the spec.
Okay.
So there's a method that takes a string, and that So what else do we know about it? It returns a world.
Okay.
It pound each returns individual characters. Or,
So are you saying it's not worth having a Swan card class at all?
I'm wondering that if there is no at this point we're not aware of any utility to it, right?
Yeah. No.
So Yagni,
One more time?
Yagni, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't gonna need it, right? If we can't think of a use for it, at this point it looks like it would just be a Swan string which has one element in its array.
Yes.
So in that case, where it returns Swan strings of length 1.
Really?
I mean, that's what it yields, right? That's all that it can do. You want to
I mean,
pass.
that I think it's if you really want to do that, then I would rather have it do than have Swan. I don't like returning Swan strings of length 1 when you try to do each on Swan string seems confusing.
Okay, so that a Swan car would just be a special case, would be a subtype of Swan string, basically, probably.
We don't have subtypes.
We do have. Well, let's implement. So, okay, we'll have a nominal Swan car, even if its implementation is identical to Swan string with a different type. That's fine.
Okay. All right.
Right, we haven't defined any functionality for either of these, so it's all moot. But we'll say we'll just say it yields a sequence of Swan cars.
I was expecting it to yield a sequence of actual strings.
Hmm?
I was expecting it to yield a sequence of actual letters.
So the goal is that once. So this is where I think the difference between a utility object and everything else. This is why the buckets for me is helpful. So the things in the actually we're labeling. So there's the world object, which is the thing we need. Then there are things that allow us to create. I guess these are actually sort of imports, right? Or shims, right? When we're coding, we have all these JavaScript objects that we want to convert into worlds, right?
Okay.
And the idea is that there needs to be these shims that allow us to bring that in. Once we're there, everything should be a world. Everything should be taking worlds and giving worlds, and all of our operations should be on worlds.
Okay.
Right? So it
That's,
should be.
that's
Sorry?
okay.
Otherwise, you're always wondering, is this a plain JavaScript object or is it one of our world objects, and what can you cannot do? The goal is to have everything be in the same. So you're hesitant?
No. I mean, I guess that makes sense. We can take it to its logical extreme.
Yeah, because um, otherwise you never know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So it yields Swan string. Well, then in that case, nobody. I mean, since we really don't have subtypes.
Well, what do you mean? Well, what do you mean we don't have subtypes?
I mean, everything's a world.
Well, right, we don't have JavaScript subtypes, but we have Swan subtypes, right? Swan string is just a world. Swan car could be a subworld, but that doesn't really matter now. I think you're right. We should have a first-class Swan car, whether or not JavaScript tells us about it.
Okay.
Where are we? Oh, we are here, right? Oh, right. Okay. Okay, so
new.
yield Swan cars. And then what else do we want to know about a string that is different than any generic world? Do causes string concatenation.
Okay. Now, how in the process of shimming a JavaScript object, how much do we need to copy over? I mean, do we need to have a length method?
So we probably want a length method on our world anyway.
Okay.
If we got a body that's enumerable, we always end up wanting to know its length. I don't like explicit lengths, but I think they're just too useful to not have.
Okay.
And is there anything else that is true of a world that's not true of a car, or anything true of a string that's not true of a world? Um, every world will probably need a 2s or equivalent that returns a Swan string. So this one would be, it returns its, so let's talk about naming, please. I'm very fond of the Ruby-ish idioms of 2s, 2i, or conversions.
Okay.
And I think actually our world object should have a 2s method that returns a Swan string.
Okay.
And then maybe a 2JS string or something, or maybe a 2-string method that returns a JavaScript string, a 2s method that returns a Swan string.
I would say we should have a 2s, and then the Swan string can implement 2JS. So every shim can implement its own 2JS to return a JavaScript version of itself.
Yeah, right. Excellent point.
Okay. But then this should have some sort of describe,
to us.
Let's see, describe conversions. It should respond. It
pound to us.
Converts to Swan string.
So that'd be pound 2s converts to Swan string?
Sure.
To I? So everything should be able to, you want to get a string out of everything. I don't want to get an integer out of everything.
Okay.
We don't even have strings yet. But I do want a 2JS converts to equivalent JavaScript object. Yeah.
Right.
Right, which strictly speaking is a POJO, right? A plain old JavaScript object rather than, since everything is already a world object. But
right, but I mean, there's not really a way to convert a world into a JavaScript object without, I mean, I guess you could. You could have an iterator that goes over each key and copies it into a new object. But you never really know which ones are worth going over because you never really know what keys the world has. Like what, does that make sense?
Every world should have a type. So you can always ask every element. You could create a JavaScript dictionary which de-worldifies everything, right? If all your shims do. I'm not saying I'm going to implement it now, but I think that's a general concept, and we'll do it for the ones that make sense.
Fair enough. Okay.
Okay. And so 2s returns a string, 2s returns itself.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And can't think of anything else that should be unusual about a Swan string.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else either.
Okay. So now that we know that, that implies that what we're going to want, so the easiest way to implement this, right, is to make the body of it an array of Swan cars.
Right.
So we now know what we need our Swan cars to be, and So I just actually probably easiest thing is to just copy this spec and do it for Swan cars. Okay, returns full. Okay, let's just go through the specs when you catch your breath. Return to world.
Oh, no, you're right, because it's a, sorry.
Is array of one Swan car. Each yields one Swan car. Or, yeah, I can't think of, well, that's an interesting question. Array of one Swan car, and each yields itself. That would be the simplest implementation I could think of.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, if we have atomic characters, then it doesn't really make sense to iterate over the bits. Oh, this is where it gets fun.
Wait a second, Ernie, just real quickly. You actually got rid of the each method. Like, there is no each anymore.
Sorry. You're right. At this level, it should be each body.
Which really is not actually worth writing for each of them. If the body is an array of Swan car, each body will yield that.
Well, yes, but we want to test that.
But we already did.
Well, I don't. Oh, sorry. I am not assuming. Okay. Oh, I see. Given that, right? I was actually planning to test it the other way around. Is each body returns it, and then the implementation happens to be the body's an array of Swan car. This is probably a philosophical point I had mentioned. I think of body as a private property, even though it's accessible like everything else is in JavaScript.
Okay.
And so I want to test the behavior I expect from it. And in general, I do not want to be mucking around with the body object directly.
Not even getting it?
Yeah, I don't. Because I don't want to have to worry about the internal representation. I want to define things based on their behavior. Because I'm
okay. So then we should be specing each body yields itself.
Yeah.
Right? Same for here.
Each body
yields array Swan cars, and don't check what the body is.
Right. Is it worth making body? It's probably more pain than it's worth to try to make body look private with underscores and everything. Let's just keep it as a convention for now. And
no, all we have to do is that.
Right. In that case, isn't it the same thing? You already have body as a private method. We just get rid of that method.
We can get rid of it, yeah.
Oh, so wait. Actually, I'm a little confused now. So new world body colon something.
Doesn't do anything.
Right. Yeah. So I guess the question is really, what is that having a right? So why don't we just make that body? We get rid of the method and just make at body for now without all the at underscore. And actually, I think you talked me out of the fact that at underscore subs seems like a painful thing to do.
Wait, what?
That every world keeping track of all its subworlds is going to get painful.
Yeah.
So we can delete add subs too while we're at it.
Really?
Yeah.
But I mean, don't we need it for something?
I don't know. I mean, the only reason you need it is if you want to track all your instances of a class, which sometimes you do want to do, but it's not clear that you always want to do it.
Right. And realistically,
in fact, this is actually apropos. The one case I found where I did want to do it is that there's a gazillion of these Swan cars, right? But there's probably only 26 of them that we ever use.
Right.
Right. So I ended up wanting to unique my Swan cars so that the Swan car method actually had a little hash.
Okay.
The string return the Swan car. So so I guess the one way to do it is we have that thing there, but it's not the default sub doesn't populate it. But actually, other than uniquing, I'm trying to think if there's actually any other good reason for doing this.
I feel like a better way to do that, though, would be just right here. I mean,
Right where?
in car.coffee, created.
Right, yes. Right, that should be a thing that's in the, it's a local thing rather than something that's in the class. Yeah, I agree. I think we should just get rid of sub, of the subs array.
All of this?
No, not the sub itself. Sub is the thing that creates a sub.
Right.
Let's get rid of the sub push. Wait. Oh, yeah.
No, sub push is just a helper to do that.
Right, but we get rid of the subs array and everything that talks to the subs array. So we get rid of the word at sub push at the end of sub. Right? We just return the new constructor contents. You got rid of the constructor too, which you probably didn't want to do.
Okay.
All right. And okay, I think I need to leave.
Okay.
So hopefully you can get the string and car guys up and running. And trying to think if there's any. Eventually, what we're going to want to do is be able to like read a file and write it, because we want to have create Swan files somewhere and start evaluating them and see what we get. So if you want about having some file or I/O object that would basically you call do to push something out to a file or to standard output or whatever, and you call each to get each line of output out.
We could. That sounds pretty unhelpful right now.
Okay.
It just, like, at a certain point, shimming objects becomes incredibly laborious and has just about zero payoff.
What do you mean sharing objects? Shimming objects?
Shimming.
Well, the thing is that we have to expose this into our runtime for our language to do anything, right?
Why?
I mean, for the same reason that we need to, I mean, the goal is to have a, well...
Okay, what I mean is reading files is actually not something we need anytime soon. What because we're writing in JavaScript, we can have JavaScript read the files and pipe them into the interpreter. I just want to worry about the interpreter and the runtime right now.
All right, so we'll do this, and then we'll go to syntax then, and
right. File read write is eventually something that will have to be there, but right now that distracts us from actually getting anything done.
Okay, fair enough. I gotta go talk to the client. I will let you carry on and touch base around, I don't know, 1 or 2.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.